Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. A lot of information is coming in, a lot of intelligence, a lot of chatter is being reported to MFAN, and I'm going to do my best to provide an accurate picture of what is going on within the scope of the ongoing civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia. So a lot of eyes, a lot of ears right now are focused on the conflict that is taking place within the environments of Dese and Kombolcha. So we can confirm, as we speak, that Tigray and Defense Forces have begun moving along the key terrain features just west of the city of Dese. And what we're looking at is obviously Dese, and we'll look at right here is Wallo University. This area has been a staging area for both Amhara militias and the federal forces defending and training for the fighting that is continuing within the vicinity of Dese and Kombolcha. But right now, we cannot confirm, I say again, we cannot confirm that the actual occupation of Wallo University, meaning there are Tigrayan Defense Forces boots on the ground inside of Wallo University as of yet. Our understanding is that according to Tigrayan Defense Force doctrine, they are now operating just to the west along this ridge line, along this right here, as you can see, just to the west of both Dese and Wallo University. In fact, we can report that not only are the Tigrayan Defense Forces just to the west along this ridge line of Wallo University, but they have even proceeded farther south along this mountainous range right here and are now overlooking the area in between Wallo University and the city of Dese. And again, that is not really, there's no separation per se between the two. Obviously, you go from Wallo University basically directly into the outer suburbs of the city of Dese, and it immediately becomes a fairly densely populated urban area. We can also confirm that the forces of the Abiy loyalists have positioned artillery assets inside of the city of Dese and are using the city as protection to shell the routes that the Tigrayan Defense Forces are taking directly to the west and even in some cases to the east of the city of Dese. And another bit of intel that is coming in that was something that was not really known until just recently, but the fact is now that we can confirm that the federal forces, the Abiy loyalists, are actually deploying a TOS-1 thermal barrack weapon system. So what is a TOS-1, Tango Oscar Sierra Dash 1 weapon system? So what it is a T-72 tank chassis, and instead of the traditional tank turret, it is a rocket system that fires thermal barrack munitions. These are fuel air explosive type systems that the Russian military identifies as flamethrowers. Now, they are not traditional flamethrowers. These fire rockets 2, 3, 4,000 meters. They're utilized basically as a direct fire weapon system in a lot of cases. And these are absolutely horrific weapon systems. And we were not aware, meaning MFAM, Military and Foreign Affairs Network, was not aware that the Ethiopian military, the Abiy loyalists, had attained the TOS-1 thermobaric weapon system until just recently. We have received confirmation that that system is actually now being deployed and actively used within the confines of this conflict. So that is a fairly significant development. Where did that system come from? Well, most likely it had to come from either the Russian Federation, Belarus. That's really where it could have come from. Now, could it have been sold by another end user? Quite possibly. But I think that's a fairly significant development that they are using those systems. Now, how many? I don't know. We've just confirmed at least one was being used. But right now, I want to again temper the expectations of a rapid seizure of Dese. Again, this is going to be a very complicated and lengthy operation if, in fact, some sort of agreement has not been made by the Abiy loyalists and the Amhara militias to vacate Dese and capitulate it. Our understanding is that the Fano militias, the Amhara militias, are resolute in their determination to defend Dese and are doing so. We are hearing there is infighting between the federal forces and the Amhara regional militias. There has been fighting between the two. There has been arrests going on as well between the two forces. But there is a significant presence of Fano, of the Amhara militias located both in Dese and in Kombolcha as well. And those would appear to be in some cases dead enders, meaning they are going to fight for the city. So the only other option right now for the Tigrayan Defense Forces is to seal the city off and besiege it, or a direct urban assault that I know that the Tigrayan Defense Forces is trying to avoid. But unfortunately, when we enter a total war narrative like we're seeing now, it's very hard to completely avoid urban warfare, the likes of which we'll probably have to observe. But again, the Tigrayan Defense Forces are operating just to the west of the city. They're overlooking the city. This is very strategic heights. If they control the high ground overlooking the city of Dese, again, that is a very significant development. We also continue to see the surrendering of the federal forces, the Abiy loyalists associated with the actual Ethiopian National Defense Forces. And some of these units are actually not even coming into contact, meaning they're not even being engaged actively by hostile fire before they are surrendering. And that is a very unique development when you have that sort of condition. That would mean that the morale is so low within the federal forces that some of these units are just looking for a way to get out of the fight and surrender. And that would mean there's very little buy-in from their company and battalion commanders, the folks that are leading these combat units. And again, many of them, as we talked about, have very, very rudimentary training, and that is why we are seeing them surrender so quickly. Now, on the other hand, the Amhara regional militias is a little bit different story. Obviously, some of those are going to be dead enders, and they are going to fight and fight very, very hard. And that is what is going to create the majority of the problems in terms of the possible urban fighting that we will probably at some time witness. But again, right now, very significant development. Again, very complicated scenario right now. Depending on where you set on this issue, if you are a supporter of the Tigrayan Defense Forces in the Tigray region, I would say temper your expectations in terms of a quick resolution to the fighting going on in Dese and Kambalcha. Again, even if Dese falls, you still have the sister city to the southeast of Kambalcha, and we could see some certain momentum swings occurring as this conflict continues. And we are seeing, again, with the deployment of that TOS-1 a weapon system that is a really horrific weapon, and if for some reason it's utilized within an urban environment, that would be catastrophic. And I would not, absolutely, I would not rule that out, especially if we start to see Fano militia units, the Amhara regional paramilitary militia units, seize some of those weapon systems and start to utilize those within the confines of Dese and Kambalcha. But again, these are two very, very large, densely packed urban landscapes with a lot of terrain features. There are a lot of forces also coming into play in terms of just the sheer amounts of forces, both of the Amhara militias and the remnants of the Ethiopian federal forces. Again, I do not believe there is going to be a quick resolution to this. I think this is going to be a lengthy process that's going to take days, weeks, possibly months. Again, temper expectations that this fighting within the vicinity of Dese and Kambalcha could take more than a month. And again, I know that's difficult depending on where you sit on the situation to hear, and I emphasize with you, I understand that. But again, that's just what we're looking at. This is a very, very difficult proposition for any military really on the planet to undertake. It is not an easy solution to enter this sort of landscape and be successful against an opponent who is actively resisting you. But we will continue to monitor the situation and report. Again, very fluid right now. We can say, for all intents and purposes, the TDF has entered Dese. I had reported that earlier in regards to some infiltration units. However, the city is not fully under the control of the Tigrayan Defense Forces at this moment, but we will continue to monitor the situation and report as soon as we get more information. Have a great day, everybody.